Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. Man, what is going on with my mans over there from the legendary Legion of Boom, man? Come through. Come through. Come through. Man, it's funny, but it's not funny. To see that happening with Sherman, that just kind of goes to show you it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't, anybody in the sports world, business world, whatever, right? We all have issues. It's like that's those guys' job, right? And we talking about the Legion of Boom. Now, I'm going to run this down the line for you. Now, for those that don't know, whatever, I mean, guys who check my channel should know, have some, should have some knowledge on some football for sure. Right, but you're talking about, one of the legendary secondaries that had a nice run. Talking about during the Legion, 6 consecutive winning seasons, 3 division titles, 2 NFC championships, a Super Bowl victory, with 2 Super Bowls. Don't even get me started with that one that they should have won. Made the playoffs in 5 consecutive seasons, winning at least one game each appearance. Finished with 5 consecutive 10-plus seasons, a feat the franchise had never achieved in a consecutive season prior. They also had back-to-back Super Bowls, winning once to secure the franchise first ever championship. You're talking about from 2012 to 2015, the Seahawks led the league in scoring defense, allowing the fewest points scored each year for 4 years straight. The only other team to accomplish that were the Cleveland Browns of the 50s. It was the Cleveland Browns of the 50s. The 2013 defense led the league in points allowed, yards allowed, takeaways, which had 39. The first team to lead all 3 categories since the 85 Bears. The 2013 unit is widely regarded as one of the best single-season defenses of all time. Consisted of Rich Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Brandon Browner, Byron Maxwell. So it's like throw Walter Thurman in there as well, I guess, I suppose. Now we've had this. Let's rewind this thing back. And we saw what happened with Richard Sherman. Sherman is a first ballot Hall of Famer. One of the better corners to play, tall, rangy, zone guy. Everybody pretty much knows the story. Cat from out of Compton, out of Compton or whatever, went to Stanford. High IQ dude or whatever. Outspoken with the league and everything like that. And shut down corner, everything. We already know his story and what it is that he does, or what he has done for the most part. The thing about you had Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is from the region where I'm from, Golden Triangle. That's Port Arthur. No, that's Port Arthur, Orange, Beaumont. I'm from around that area and stuff like that. Earl Thomas, legend. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer himself. Might be a second because he might take a hit from him shooting the finger at Pete Carroll and the Seahawks and then the fighting that went on over there at Baltimore. Right? Cam Chancellor, nasty safety, big guy, very good, very good. Not really... Seems like he's not throwing in that thing. He's not, not quite, with them other guys like our Ed Reed and all them guys. But he'll bring that wood. Brandon Browner, Byron Maxwell. Let's run this thing down the line. Now we saw what happened, unfortunately, with that with Richard Sherman, right? So obviously something's going on. And see, this is what I'm talking about. That's those guys' job. What happens outside that field? They're just like anybody else, man. You have problems with your woman. Problem with your in-laws. You might be hanging around with jokers you don't need to be hanging around with. Life still goes on. Life is. You still got to deal with life. So those guys got to still deal with life. So evidently something about taking the kids or whatever and stuff like that. You got to think about it. Richard Sherman got cut by the 49ers. He's in the twilight of his career, right? It's not a lot left. He showed what he did, like I think that was the 2018-2019 season, I think, something like that, when they went to the Super Bowl, and he made the Pro Bowl, and he made All-Pro second team, at the time when people were saying, oh, he's washed up and whatnot. I mean, he got burned in the Super Bowl, but nonetheless, he still went out with a bang. I mean, like I said, he could have retired after that. He's good. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be a Hall of Fame corner. There's no question about that, right? But let's run this stuff down the line, though, man. Go back to Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas wanted the contract or whatever. He messed around, breaks his leg. I want to say that was the 2017-2018 season. Leaves from there. He breaks his leg, shoots the finger at the whole Seattle Seahawks team, preferably, I guess, Pete Carroll and the rest of them. And his season was done. He goes to Baltimore. Baltimore goes like 14-2 or something like that. That's that year, 2019. That was the 100-year anniversary. They did their thing or whatever like that. But then after the season was basically over with, it was known that he got into fights with different guys there and whatever. They didn't want him back, which I found there was never really no issue about anything about Earl Thomas at all. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, this stuff comes up. Then last year or so, the issue, he's found in bed with another woman. His wife's pointing a gun at him and all this kind of crazy stuff, restraining orders and all this kind of crazy shit that was going on. And his career is pretty much over. Nobody's messing with him, and it's just like, the word on the street is like, Earl, he got some issues, like that nigga crazy or whatever. So it's one of them type of things, right? Never really no issues with Cam Chancellor. Never really no issues with, I think, Byron Maxwell. Although Brandon Browner, I remember him. It's like that's a whole nother issue dealing with that cat. It's like, damn, it's just like cocaine possession, under the influence, right? Breaking and entering into a residence of a woman with whom he once had a relationship, fleeing the scene after stealing a Rolex within the home. 2 days later, he was officially charged with attempted murder and 3 other felonies. So back in 2018, December 4th, Brown was sentenced to 8 years in prison after pleading no contest to an attempted murder charge. Brown is now serving his sentence at San Quentin State Prison. These guys are all Pro Bowlers. These guys played one of the better secondaries that ever came through the league. And these are the different things that's happening with these guys kind of when the end is coming, when the end is near, or when the end has already happened. And these things are going on. And Browner, like I said, he got 2 rings. He got one with the Hawks and he got one with New England. And he was a nice corner, a big corner at that. And it was good and everything. I don't know what's, like I said, it's not about giving. These guys have issues. A lot of the time, these guys have issues once the game is gone from them. Once the game is over with, man, I think when the end is near, it's an issue. When they no longer have that outlet. And with Richard Sherman, it's just like, I don't know what a man talking about going to kill himself. It's just like, damn, it's like, you don't expect to hear that about from Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman carried himself in such a way that the intelligence, being articulate, and plus, really, loving his community and everything like that, and just, just the way he carried himself and whatnot, you wouldn't expect that to happen. But then again, that can happen. You say, the killing stuff. I'm not tripping out on the other stuff about dealing around with his. If you take your kid, you take my kid. I got some. Every man handles shit different, but most men, they gonna handle that shit just like that in a lot of cases. Alcohol fueled or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but he had a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't even about that type of shit. It's more or less about like when my man started talking about killing himself, and that just takes me back to Junior Seau and all that shit that went on with him, and that shit hit me because it's like about a year difference between me and Junior Seau, same age and whatnot. It's like, damn, man, is it that, what is this CTE really doing to some of these guys? What happens when the game is over with and everything like that or whatever? So Richard Sherman, for him to say this thing that he's saying, I'm thinking because it's like, I don't know if anybody was going to pick him up or whatever like that, and whatnot. I don't know. But, I mean, Richard Sherman, in like 9-10 years, he's made $85 million. So money shouldn't even be really an issue. But I think these guys go through a lot of stuff. Earl Thomas never came back. Nobody's wanting to deal with Earl Thomas. It's like, and all that. So you've had 3 members. And you got guys with Pro Bowls and Super Bowl rings and whatnot who are legends. But life still happens with these guys, man. Life still happens. It's like shit still goes on with people. You got a problem with your woman, you problem with your damn kids, this, that, and the third. And just because you can play a football or dunk a basketball, hit a baseball, hit a hockey puck, shit, life still goes on. You got to still deal with these crazy ass women that you're dealing with. You got family that you're dealing with, or if you still hanging around a bunch of jokers, you probably don't even need to be hanging around. And then the game is gone. So now what do you have if that's your identity and it's not going on? So guys dabble in drugs and then a whole nother life. And like, the whole thing about with the whole thing about with Browner, just like, damn, it's like attempted murder. And I don't know the ins and outs of that whole story and whatnot. And I just thought it was crazy because here we dealing with 3 guys that's from the Legion of Boom, from that particular secondary, right? And it's 4 cats in the secondary, you can run in here and there. But it's like dealing with issues with cops, their women, drugs, alcohol, and whatnot, and and all this other stuff. So like I said, life happens, and I really hope my man Sherman gets the right attention that he needs to possibly get. But that's just something to say, man. I don't know if it got something to do with some of these guys. Like I said, when the game is over, the game is over. You got to still do certain things, but it's like sometimes I don't think them guys are going to be really right in the head. And that's a part of that game, though. CTE is going to be a part of football. As long as you play football and you still banging heads and stuff, like, you can try to say we can't, this hit's illegal or whatever, but the hit was still made. So shit, it is what it is. Your head hits the fucking turf. It is what it is. You get pounded in your fucking head, get kicked in your head or whatever, you go down hard or whatever, stuff like that. It's playing with your brain. So either way it goes. It's just that unfortunately for a lot of African American players, black Nubian players and whatnot that play in the league, right? Unfortunately, a lot of times their story, because it's 70-75% of us up in the league, shit, it's like their stories is thrown up out there. It's like you don't hear anything about some of these other stories, other players, other white players and things like that. But it's all kinds of issues that goes on. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of issues. So I really hope my man, like I said, you take a man's kids from him, shit, how you expect how is he supposed to act? I don't know what happened or whatever and this, that, and the other, but I don't know what the father-in-law got to do with any of this shit. I don't know when him and his wife, it was crazy because when stuff was coming out, they kept using her. I was like, Sherman and the old girl been married. Why are they using her maiden name? So I don't know if they divorced. I don't know what went on, but all of it's going to probably soon come out and whatnot, but it's just jacked up. And I hope my man gets the assistance. I hope he's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's not about ragging on them guys. I mean, the shit's kind of, you looking at him as, okay, he come through and stuff like that. I made that, saying that, but it's like, I hope the brother's all right. I hope Earl Thomas is all right. I mean, his wife filed for divorce and everything like that, but she getting a goddamn gun pointed in your face because of, like, come on, man. It's just like that, and then the issues with Pete Carroll and the fighting with going on in the Ravens, and then, and all that stuff that went on back there. So it's crazy. I really hope everything goes fine for these cats, but it just goes to show you that you don't know what these guys is dealing with outside of that stuff from the field, man. And, how they're going to react when when you're not part of the game anymore, when you're not the best anymore, when it's like the writing's on the wall and nobody else wants you. So, but guys got to get ready for that. So I don't know what goes on, but I just hope the brother gets, all them cats, any player, I'm saying, anybody in any genre or whatever, I'm saying, get the help that they need once the game is going on, especially in football with a game where it's like, that you're going to take some hits and whatnot. So, hope everything is fine with the brother and whatnot. And, but, people got to realize they're people too, and they go through their shit. And just because they got a $1 million contract, a $50 million contract, they got to still deal with stuff like everybody else has to deal with. And some deal with it correctly, some don't deal with it correctly. So obviously something went on. We don't know what went on. I don't know what went on. I just know his in-laws and the kids was involved. You take a man's kids, especially you taking care of them, you the provider and everything like that, and somebody just up jump and just take your damn kids and whatnot. That can happen to anybody. Anybody. I don't give a fuck how much money you make. That don't mean shit. It's kids. It's my kids, and you taking my damn kids from me. We got a problem. So I hope everything is right okay with the brother and whatnot, and hope he get if you need some assistance and help. I don't want to sit up there and hear any damn other type of junior say our shit, because that shit almost broke me down when that happened. And a lot of other players that I enjoyed. It's just that with Sayar, we was the same age bracket. Andre Waters and all the rest of them other guys, Doris and all the rest of them other guys, they was a little older than I was and whatnot. And so it's like, it just, it was still hurt, but it's like, Junior Seau, I'm like, damn, that was deep. That was deep, man. So you don't want anything else to happen with these guys like this. Or talk to some of the cats. You can talk to Deion Sanders. Talk to Shannon. Talk to some of your brothers that went through it, especially somebody like Prime. Hey man, I tell you guys, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel and whatnot. And I tell you guys all the time, there's no greatest of all time. There's no GOAT as long as time's still going on. And I tell you guys all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. Guys, have a good one.